What? What? Wait. Why is there a hunter that drives right at the perfect timing to run you over? Look, it's seriously, it crosses you at the perfect time that you'd be crossing the road. Oh. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. You know there's an entire area of the road. All right, Hunter, you gotta figure this out, man. You gotta figure this out. There you go. Good job, buddy. Ooh, that was cool. Hey guys, Drewski here, and today we're checking out ARMA 3 tanks. This is a DLC package coming into the ARMA experience for you guys, and it adds 3 new tanks. It also adds a lot more tank mechanics such as ATGM missiles, as well as the ability to see actually the insides, the internals of the tanks in the game. So it's really, really cool, and we've got a few different types of tanks to check out because it's not just adding only main battle tanks to the game, but it's adding tank destroyers and also scout type vehicles slash tanks, I guess you could say. But it's a really interesting DLC, and I really do like the additions in this one, so we're going to check them out today. First up, all this is in the beta branch. All you have to do to access these tanks is go right-click on your ARMA 3, go to Properties, click on Betas, click on the drop-down, and then click Dev Branch. You should have a like 5 or 6 gigabyte download that you have to download until your game is ready to go, and then you can try out some of these vehicles that we're going to be talking about today. So first up, there's a showcase that allows you to drive the NATO Rhino MGS Up Armored Edition. This is a armored variant of the Rhino MGS, and it uses a 120mm cannon with a secondary SPMG, and then also the commander seat has a standardized 12.7mm machine gun. The vehicle is wheeled, and therefore it is very, very fast to drive around and maneuver as well. You can really kind of outrun tanks and outrun the average main battle tank you're going to be fighting against, and I think that's the main advantage to this vehicle. It's very low armor. It can usually only take maybe 1 or maybe even 2 hits from a main battle tank before it's dead, but usually if you get hit by a large main battle tank anywhere in a large area of the tank, it's going to take you out rather quickly. So the main advantages of this thing is its small size and as well as its speed and maneuverability. What's also really nice about this vehicle and all vehicles in the DLC is that you have the ability to change the color as well as the different accessories on the tank. So as you can see here, we have a standard Rhino MGS. Let's say we want to add the 12.7mm machine gun and some armor to make it heavier, but also take a few more hits and pack a little bit more punch. So we can clearly just click the Rhino MGS Up Edition and have the more up armored variant. But that's not where it ends. You can also go to this little puzzle icon up here, click components, and you can add camo nets to the vehicle to make it even more sneaky beaky. If you're SEAL Team 6 tank team, then we've got the tank for you now. This will most likely conceal the tank in good situations where you're in foliage, and this might actually hide you and make the difference between you being seen and you not being seen at all. In war zones like Altis, these soldiers would be around their tanks for weeks or months at a time. They're going to customize their tank and camouflage it as much as they can to make it as stealthy as possible. This is a real-life tactic used by a lot of militaries. Some militaries almost make it mandatory for you to attach foliage or netting to your tanks to make them more camouflaged and to break up their silhouette, as a large, shiny, armored piece of metal isn't very camouflaged. And you can definitely see how this type of pattern breaks up the silhouette, especially in actual real-life scenarios in Altis or Stratus. The second tank on the list is the AWC 301 Nyx, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I believe it has 4 different variants, and it's a really interesting vehicle and probably my favorite out of the 3. This is the AAF standard tank, but it can also be colored just in a standard green color like we have here, and it makes it a very interesting vehicle. It's a 2-seater tank. So as you can see, I'm gonna kind of mouse over right now. This is the driver's seat, and this is the gunner seat, and the gunner can control this 50 cal in the back, as well as, I'm guessing these are ATGM type missiles in the back, as well as there's actually 3 different other variants of it. So not only can you change just the colors, as you can see here, there is actually some camo nets we can add, as well as tools. Here, wait, let's check this out. So you can add tools, which make some shovels and hammers go on the side. You can add a slat cage, which is for extra protection against different missiles. These actually have dynamic damage done to them, by the way. If you get hit in the side, let's say the left side, this will actually become damaged, but it will save you from certain missiles at some points. There's also bags. Add some backpacks to the front, and I'm guessing other places in the vehicle. Yep, the rear left. But then there's also the camo net. And the camo net's also just like the Rhino we saw before, pretty cool addition, and does actually camouflage the vehicle quite a bit. And there's different camo nets you can get for desert environments, standard environments, or jungle, or just the standard olive color, which I personally like the best. But this isn't the only version. This is the AT version with a 50 cal as your primary weapon, but then also missiles to take out tanks. You can also equip the AA version, which I'm guessing is going to be a very powerful machine. This is a fast-moving, treaded kind of scout car sort of weapon, so you can easily maneuver up hills and through valleys and such with this tiny vehicle. I mean, this is the size of a smart car, yet it's extremely powerful in its weaponry. And you can see even on the AA variant, we do have that 50 cal to protect you from mostly infantry or light vehicles such as MRAPs or just standard cars. This 50 cal will mostly do all of that. We also have the reconnaissance version. This is a version that can data link some positions and basically work intelligence for you. So if you're wanting to mark positions of enemies on the ground, you can data link up to aircraft in the sky to, let's say, mark and laser designate and things like that to call in airstrikes and such. So again, this is the reconnaissance version of the vehicle. I'm guessing this is probably the main version, the main good use of this type of vehicle platform. And as well, we have my personal favorite, the 20mm auto cannon. This can take out light APCs, so the APCs that have wheels instead of treads. You can shoot at the wheels with a high explosive 20mm and take it out quite quickly. MRAPs are dead when they're facing this 20mm high explosive cannon, and you can really easily take out infantry with this thing as well. This is probably my favorite overall, just because it's the most effective for, I think, its purpose, which is going to be a light strike, kind of stealthy, kind of guerrilla tactics sort of armored vehicle. Again, like I said before, this is actually a very fast vehicle as well. Although it is treaded, it's still the size of a small smart car, yet it has a lot of power. It also has a lot of turning power and just overall maneuverability over your standard main battle tank. And again, just like the other variants, we can change the camouflages and attach some camo nets or some slat cages to it just to customize it a little bit more. Third up, we have the mighty Angara, and this is actually a slightly larger tank than the T100. And in our old, very, very old Red vs. Blue series, where we compared all of the standard vanilla tanks in ARMA 3, not the ARMA 3 DLC, tanks DLC tanks, but just the standard tanks, we actually found out that the T100 right here was the overall best tank because of its ability to fire high explosive ammunition, as well as its good armor capabilities, its decent speed, and its overall just firepower was definitely better than every other tank in the game. Now comes in the T140K. This is a insane piece of machinery. This is a 125mm cannon with a 7.62 secondary cannon right beside it. I believe that's the little hole right there for the 7.62 machine gun, which is definitely a standardized sort of cannon. It has high explosive anti-tank, and AP rounds that it can fire, as well as not only having the main cannon, it also has a 30mm machine gun or cannon up on top as well that fires multi-purpose ammunition. So this can be used to take out light APCs, not only by hitting them in the wheels, but also it can disable vehicles by just shooting them in the hull. So MRAPs are dead, helicopters dead. This thing can take out a lot of vehicles. So you don't only have a powerful tank, you also have a powerful 30mm base tank, because this 30mm is just insane. I mean, just look how fast we can take out a Strider with the commander seat of a vehicle. Should be dead now. Yep, it's dead. But even then, probably those shots would disable the engine, and if you were to shoot at the wheels, it basically disables a wheel in 4 shots, which is extremely fast. The Angara can also have camo nets just like the other tanks as well, and you can camouflage it in different color schemes, even gray, which is kind of a cool looking forestry type of camo. You can do it in a green hex as well, which would probably work in places like Chernarus very effectively. You can do it in jungle for places like Tanoa, hex for places like Altus and Stratus, and gray for, I don't know, really stealthy, sneaky beaky missions. I don't know where gray works. Yeah, but this tank, honestly, is super powerful. It can go through 2 tanks at a time with its main 125mm cannon, and it's definitely the most powerful main battle tank in the game right now. Additionally, in the ARMA 3 Tanks DLC, we now have customization options on the pre-existing vehicles in the game. So here is a M2A4, sorry, Slammer Up variant with some camo netting on it, and as well as some customization of some extra bags on the back. So you can camouflage the pre-existing tanks as well as the new tanks in the game. So guys, I would recommend, if you're into ARMA 3, checking out the Tanks DLC on the dev branch, because it's a pretty cool upgrade to tank warfare, even if you don't own the DLC. Being able to see the inside of the cabins of the tanks, and as well as having a lot of customization options and a little bit more weaponry, I guess, dynamics for the game, really does add a lot to tank combat. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.